We are all aware a balance sheet reveals liabilities and assets, and liabilities tell you where the money has come from, and assets tell you what you did with the money. Where does money come from? Principally, two sources: owners contribute and outsiders contribute. And where does money go in any organization? Into two avenues. Partially, it goes towards creation of infrastructure, and partially, it goes towards supply of working capital. And why do you need working capital? Let's say somebody sets up a manufacturing organization, having invested money in land, building, plant, machinery, and now a customer comes with an order. Guys, in addition to buying infrastructure, they must now have the money so that they can buy the raw material to execute the order. And organizations will not only buy raw materials after the customer has walked in, but very often they will buy and maintain an inventory of raw materials in anticipation of orders so that when the customer comes in, the production can commence right away. They need money because this order might take a few weeks to execute, but expenses happen on a daily basis. Salaries have to be paid, overheads have to be paid, rent has to be paid. So you got to hold on to sufficient amounts of cash and bank balances. And guys, the truth is, a fact of running a business is at great cost, you make this product, supply it to the customer, and the customer probably says, come month, 2 months, 3 months later and collect your check. So you're also financing your customers. So working capital is required for mainly three components: to buy inventory, to hold in the form of cash and bank balances, and debtors. Debtors being customers on whom you have spent money, they have bought the goods from you and haven't yet paid you. You know, businesses focus on trying to increase sales to increase the profit. Of course, you should do that. But your profit can also go up if you start managing your working capital well. You know, working capital can actually be depicted like a cycle. It is either called the working capital cycle or it is called the cash to cash cycle. Let me illustrate the working capital cycle of a manufacturing company. Where does the cycle begin, guys? It begins with cash. And then what do you do with this cash? You spend, you buy raw materials, it becomes inventory. When the inventory goes into production process, it becomes finished goods. Then you find a customer, it becomes debtors. And when you collect money from your debtors, it comes back in the form of cash. This cycle is called the working capital cycle or the cash to cash cycle. And one of the tricks of good finance management is your ability to shorten the cycle. Let's imagine there are two organizations, A and B. Both go to a bank. We want 100 crore working capital loan. And the banker asks the first company, why do you want 100 crore working capital loan? This guy says, I have to maintain inventory. Banker says, what kind of inventory would you like to maintain? This fellow says, you see, it should never happen that there are orders on the shop floor and no raw materials. Safe side, I would like to maintain a raw material inventory of 3 months. His product goes into production cycle. This person says, I am an international player. My product has to be of global standards. So to make sure I don't compromise on quality, I must spend at least a month to convert raw material to finished product. Then when his product is ready, he said, those days are gone where a customer used to come and I could afford to tell the customer, you want to buy from me? Do one thing. Give me an order, give me an advance, and collect your stuff month, 2 months, 3 months later. Those days are gone. Today's customer expects finished goods lying on the shelf. So I must maintain a finished goods inventory of 1 month also, so that when a customer comes, I can give it to him upfront. And he says, I'll be a fool if I think I can tell the customer who comes to me, you want to buy from me, pay me cash upfront, otherwise go away. Chances are the customer will go away. He goes to my neighbor. My neighbor says, take it, pay me after 2 months. Now, guys, if the neighbor is going to say, pay me after 2 months, when will this customer come to me? Only if I tell him, pay me after 3 months. Tell me, how long will his one cycle take? 8 months. How many cycles will he achieve in a year? 1.5. 100 crore invested will probably generate a turnover of 150 crores. Now, this guy's got a neighbor identical to him. This neighbor also goes to a bank. I want 100 crore working capital loan. Banker says, why do you want this loan? He says, I want to maintain inventory. Banker says, what kind of inventory would you like to maintain? This person not only understands I need inventory, but he also understands that mantra that I gave you some time back. Less is bad, more is worse. This guy says, of course I need inventory. But why 3 months? He says, how much inventory to maintain should not be a figure that comes out of my hat. He says, to understand the need for inventory, what I'm going to do, I will first do a sales forecast. Based on that, I will do a production forecast. Based on that, I will do an inventory need analysis. I will also have meetings with suppliers to see that I can reduce the lead time between placement of order and receipt of material. Ultimate intention is I need to head towards what is known as just-in-time inventory. But he says in the meantime, I can manage with 1 month. His product goes into production cycle. This guy says, even I am an international player. I understand importance of quality, but I don't agree that the longer the time taken to produce, the better the quality. I can probably cut down my production time from 30 days to 15 days and still make sure that I don't compromise on quality. He says finished goods inventory also 15 days enough. And when customers come to buy, this guy says, I don't agree that the single yardstick used by customers to buy or not to buy is the period of credit. They look at so many more things. They look at my product quality. In certain cases, they look at my packaging quality. They see my pre-sale service. They look at my after-sale service. If necessary, I'll offer them a slight discount, but I will convince my customers to pay me within a month. How long will his cycle take? 3 months. How many cycles will he achieve in a year? 4. Two identical businesses doing the same thing. First person borrows 100 crore, generates a turnover of 150 crores. Second person borrows 100 crore, generates a turnover of 400 crores. The neighbor doesn't understand, how are we different? We are doing the same thing. Why is this person so much more prosperous than I am? Answer is, this person's working capital management is more efficient. This person's finance management is more efficient. Do you agree this constitutes good finance management? Tell me, who are the people involved in the practice of this good finance management? Who's involved from stage 1 to stage 2? The purchase department. Who's involved from stage 2 to stage 3? The production guys. Who's involved stage 3 to stage 4? The sales people. Have you noticed these are precisely the people who say we are non-finance people? And the entire finance management is happening outside the finance department. Finance management is everybody's responsibility.